You have no enemies. This phrase is everywhere online. People use it to describe someone who finished their villain arc and suddenly became a better person. But honestly, the first time I heard this phrase, I thought Thors would be portrayed as a very naive father, like Doflamingo's father, or characters who mean well but do not understand the real world. And I also did not agree with the phrase itself. It sounded too naive to me, too idealistic. Because let's be real, every human has enemies. Maybe not literal enemies, but at least someone who dislikes us, someone who wants to see us fail, someone who laughs when we are suffering. That is just part of life. History shows the same pattern. Most conflicts begin with people deciding who the enemy is. Countries, groups, even individuals. Cruelty becomes easier when we convince ourselves the other side deserves it. Violence keeps repeating because humans keep labeling each other as enemies. It almost feels like enemies are built into human nature. In Vinland Saga through Thorfinn's life, the story slowly challenges that belief, not in a preachy way, but through pain, mistakes, and consequences. And it all begins with one sentence from his father that sounds simple, almost childish, until life forces its meaning to surface. So, in this video, I want to talk about what Thors actually meant when he said those words, how Thorfinn misunderstood them, how his life broke him, and how, piece by piece, he slowly learned what a true warrior really is. This story really starts with Thors. Before he became a peaceful father, he was known as one of the strongest warriors in the Viking world. He used to lead the Vikings. He was feared, he was respected. He was even the only person who could truly match Thorkel in battle. On the surface, he was everything a warrior was supposed to be, but during one battle, something shifted inside him. Thorkel noticed it too. Thors was still strong, but his heart was no longer in it. He started to realize that killing was not a path to honor. It was just endless destruction with no real meaning. After that, Thors runs away from war. He fakes his death and disappears. He chooses a completely different life. He settles in Iceland, builds a family, marries Helga, raises Ylva and Thorfinn. This is just a man trying to live quietly. However, what makes this so powerful is that he chose to leave everything he owned behind, even though he was on the top of the world. There is a small moment that shows who Thors really is. When they find a dying slave in front of their home, Thors does everything he can to save him. And when Halfdan comes to take the slave back, Thors is willing to pay an extremely high price just to give that man a chance to live, simply because he believes every life has value. From the beginning, Thorfinn idolizes everything about warriors. He loves hearing adventure stories. He loves playing sword fights with his friends using wooden swords. He dreams about battle without understanding what battle actually means. When he hears that his father will go to war, he feels excited instead of afraid. He wants to prove himself. He wants to be seen as strong, so strong that during one of their games, he even breaks his friend's arm. That moment already shows how badly he wants to be a warrior, even before he understands the cost. On the way home, he notices something that sticks in his mind. Real warriors do not use wooden swords. They use real weapons. That thought follows him all the way to the warehouse, where he tries to take his father's sword. But Thors stops him. He takes the sword away. That moment is small, but it carries heavy meaning. That dagger represents violence, and Thors does not want his son anywhere near it. He tries to teach him something important there. But Thorfinn is too young to understand it. The words go past him. So when he realizes he will not be allowed to join the journey, he sneaks onto the ship anyway. And because of that decision, he ends up seeing the one thing no child should ever see. His father, the man he admires more than anyone, gets killed right in front of his eyes. That moment destroys everything. What remains is only one feeling strong enough to survive the shock: revenge. From that day, Thorfinn is no longer the boy who played with wooden swords. He follows Askeladd's troops, and his life becomes consumed by one thing: revenge. Every thought and every action is about killing Askeladd. Still, he holds on to one idea from his father. When he has the chance to kill Askeladd in his sleep, he steps back. That would make him the same as the man he hates. He wants to fight as a true warrior, even if it takes years. His first duels fail. The second one fails too, and each time he tells himself he is not truly lost until he kills Askeladd. Every defeat teaches him, even if he does not realize it. From the beginning, Askeladd felt guilty and pitied Thorfinn. It wasn't said literally, but we could see it in his expressions. Askeladd begins to see his determination and tells him he must gain experience on the battlefield before he can challenge him again. Thorfinn enters the war, and the fear hits him immediately. Corpses, blood, screaming. It is nothing like the adventures he dreamed of. He kills for the first time, and everything changes from that moment. With every battle, Thorfinn becomes faster, sharper, more skilled. He grows into the killer Askeladd needs, a weapon for revenge. Slowly, he begins to lose himself. Revenge becomes his identity. There is no boy left outside of hatred. The son who once wanted to be like his father is gone, replaced by someone hardened, cold, and alive only because of the fire of anger burning inside him. After years of chasing revenge, Thorfinn finally reaches the moment he has been waiting for. But it is not what he expects. Askeladd dies in someone else's hands before Thorfinn can duel him. All the fights, all the pain, it ends without the closure he built his life around. Thorfinn feels empty and confused. The one thing that gave him purpose is gone, and he does not know what to do with himself. In anger and frustration, he lashes out. He attacks Prince Canute, striking someone of royal blood. For the first time, he faces real consequences. He is captured and made a slave. In that moment, he drops his father's dagger, the weapon that symbolized violence and the path he once followed. Letting it fall is more than just a gesture. It marks the first time Thorfinn starts to let go of the life of killing and revenge that consumed him for so long. As a slave, Thorfinn becomes almost a machine. He has no emotion, no will to fight, and no clear purpose. Everything that drove him before is gone. The boy who lived for revenge is replaced by someone empty, haunted by the past, but not yet ready to live again. This collapse of purpose is painful, but it is also the first step toward a new life, a life where he can slowly rebuild himself from the ashes of his anger. Life as a slave strips Thorfinn of everything. He moves through the world like a shadow, emotionless and numb. The nightmares of those he killed haunt him constantly, and every day feels heavy and pointless. Compared to his new friend Einar, who fights back when life pushes him down, Thorfinn accepts abuse quietly. He even volunteers to take the punishments that others might face, showing just how far he has lost his will to live. Slowly, small cracks begin to appear. When Snake swings a sword at him, Thorfinn defends himself instinctively. That moment shows that deep down, he still wants to survive. With Einar by his side, he begins to work the fields with purpose. He learns that life can hold small joys again, that growth and hope are possible, and that change is not instant but gradual. Every day becomes a lesson in patience and rebuilding, not through violence, but through effort and connection. Through this slow rebirth, Thorfinn starts to see a new possibility. He understands that life can exist beyond anger and revenge. With Einar's support, he learns to value work, friendship, and responsibility. The boy who once lived only to kill is beginning to awaken, to remember that there is more to life than the path of violence. This is the foundation for the true change that will come, the choice to finally leave the world of enemies behind. Thorfinn dreams of his father Thors, looking disappointed. In the vision, he sees himself using the dagger Thors once forbade, taking lives he should not, and even killing Einar and his family. The dream forces him to face the weight of his past actions and the person he almost became. Then the scene shifts, and he finds himself in a pit filled with endless warriors, all fighting, bleeding, and laughing in a cycle with no end. Askeladd appears and explains that this is the world of violence, where every enemy, every death becomes part of the same unending cycle. Askeladd tells Thorfinn to climb, to leave the path of violence and follow the way his father once walked. It is a choice that is not easy, but finally, Thorfinn understands. He must reject revenge and stop seeing everyone as an enemy. He vows to never use violence again, and for the first time, he begins to see that life can be different. Strength is no longer measured by the sword, but by the choice to live with honor, compassion, and restraint. Looking back, Thorfinn's journey shows what revenge really does. Living only for anger and hatred does not make someone strong. It only destroys the person holding it. Even if he had succeeded in killing Askeladd, the emptiness inside him would have remained. Violence never fills the void, it only deepens it. True strength comes from choosing a different path, from walking away when you could fight, from valuing life instead of taking it. Thorfinn learns that no one is truly an enemy. Everyone deserves a chance to live, and every life has value. He accepts his mistakes, his guilt, and himself. From a boy consumed by revenge to a man who chooses peace, Thorfinn shows that the hardest battles are not fought on the battlefield, but within ourselves. If you noticed anything I missed or I got something wrong, tell me in the comments. Also comment, what character should we deep dive into next? It can be live action, real people, or anime characters like this. If you enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and hit the bell so you don't miss the next video. Thank you for watching. Seriously.